All right, hey guys, this is Corey Strong, chairman of the party. This is your poll watchers training. I'm going to go directly through the guide, which should have a copy of. You'll probably see the video before you get the guide, but it'll make sense once you've gotten the guide, and you can probably review it again once you've gotten it, just to make sure that you've got everything in it. So, front page just says poll watcher guide. It looks like this, so you know what it is when you see it. I got it. So the first one is just going over the purpose of what a poll watcher does, and it goes over who can have a poll watcher, but pretty quickly, the party, political parties, and public groups can have poll watchers. Um, in addition to that, after the party submitted it, chairman of the parties can submit a separate group, and then any candidate for a campaign can have a poll watcher for any obviously polling locations they have. So countywides can have them throughout every precinct, and other ones can have it at their precincts. And so you're part of an effort of the party to have poll watchers, as many polls as possible. And you had to submit your name, and if you're watching this video, likely your name has been submitted, and we did that today. And so you're going to help us make sure that we have, and as it says, I read directly out of the statute, to preserve the purity of elections and guard against abuse of the elective franchise. And if you've been paying attention, we've been doing that already, and we're going to continue that fight by having some accountability in these polling locations. So the second page is just to make sure you're comfortable, you're ready to go. Some of you guys are going to be volunteering throughout the day, and so you'll always be comfortable, be warm outside, just to prepare for the elements, make sure that you're ready. You've gone to the bathroom, you've eaten, you've done whatever you needed to do, hydrated, food, water, snacks, all those things. Another thing is, because of issues and to make sure that the results don't go out before they're certified, you cannot use your cell phone inside of the polling place. So once you are inside of the polling place, you can walk around, do whatever it is you need to do, but you can't use your cell phone inside of it. So if you need to make phone calls or text anything or communicate with someone, you'll leave, and you come back in and make sure your phone's on vibrate or on silent, so it's not a distraction while you're in the polling place. So you will receive a badge from the Election Commission, and that badge, we'll pick up those badges. They'll be done on Wednesday, and we'll distribute those badges to you either on Wednesday or at your actual polling location. We'll figure out a way for you to come pick them up. Once you have that badge, you'll enter the polling place, and you'll find the officer of the elections and introduce yourself. And so you may have to stop at the registration table and ask them, but you'll go in and say, hey, I'm a poll watcher, here's my badge, which is one that you've gotten from the Election Commission, and then you'll find who the officer of elections is. That's the captain or watch captain at that particular polling site. And then at any point where you're in there, your responsibility is to watch what's going on there and make sure whatever is being done is professional and fair, and no one's rights to votes are being infringed upon. Some specific things to watch out for: any suspicious behavior, people looking around at machines, people talking secretively, or anything like that. Any time that a registered voter comes up and does not have an ID, they are to be given a provisional ballot, and they have a certain amount of time to come to the Election Commission and bring their ID to make sure that the ballot is counted. If someone doesn't have an ID but they're a registered voter, then it is a responsibility of the Election Commission to give them a provisional ballot. So no one who's a registered voter should be sent away. If you see that, obviously you'll have the opportunity to protest that. Also making sure that anybody that's having a problem with their machines, that the Election Commission staff is going to help those people, that they're not leaving them out to dry or just saying figure it out, that they're actually helping those people. There have been a lot of instances of people pushing a Democratic candidate and then a Republican candidate pops up or something like that. So it's important that we make sure that that is done properly, and that they're helping those people out. Generally speaking, document any incidents. You have some notes that are in the guide that you could take copies of any incidents. If you're going to do that, include the names of the people, not only the voters who were involved in the incident, but anybody who works for the Election Commission who was involved, and the location that you're at, so that we can report those things later. Things you cannot do: cannot interfere with a voter. You can't interfere with an election official while they're performing their duties, and you cannot observe the giving of assistance to a voter who's being called to vote. So basically this means this: don't approach the voting machines or a voter. You can acknowledge them if you know them, but don't talk to them, and don't interfere in any way with the voting process. Your job is to alert either the election officer or someone else at the polling location that there's a problem with something that's going on. You don't interfere with them while they're trying to fix the problem, but you do need to alert them if there is a problem. So there's been some examples in the past of the watch officer not knowing what they were doing. or giving someone erroneous information. That is your responsibility to let someone else at the polling location know that that information is wrong, or this person should get a ballot, or whatever that may be, or that give them a provisional ballot. But you do not interfere with that interaction between the poll worker and the voter at all, right? So you let someone else know, and if they don't, you just document it, and again, report that at the end of the day. And so this is for you guys that are there during the end of the day. A lot of you are going to show up at the end of the day just to do the counting, and that's fine, but some of you will be there during the day, and these are the types of things that you would do. And just be aware that this may be something you want to do in future elections. But again, if they don't do what you think they should do, note and annotate it, report it back to us at the end of the day. Can't leave the building once the election closes. So you do that all during the day. A lot of you guys are going to show up 6:30, 6:45 to the polling place. They're going to close the polls. Once they close the polls, you have to stay in there till they're done with the counting process. And so make sure that you know once they close doors at 7, you'll be there until they finish counting. Generally, it only takes about 45 minutes for them to do it, but again, you have to be in there that entire time. This is the process. They'll shut and lock, and then the location, and then the unused paper ballot. So these are, if someone had a provisional ballot, this is where they would fill out their ballot. They have to dispose of those to make sure that someone's in the back not, padding the vote. They have to dispose of those. They should not dispose of the provisional ballots that have been filled out, only the ones that have not been filled out. They should dispose of those or shred them or put them in a bag or something like that. And then they will lock and seal the voting machines. This is the process by which they make sure that no one else can vote. So someone from the election commission go to each machine, they'll lock it and seal it to make sure now no one else can vote on these machines. We're going to now take the final tally of those things. And so the things that you should make sure they do is make sure that they're locking and voting the machines, and then they're going to go through and count all the numbers. Make sure they lock them first, and they've locked all the machines. And this is a methodical process they should go through, but make sure that it's done. After that, they'll look at the numbers of voters on the public counters. They'll look at the numbers on the seals and the numbers registered on the protective counters, and we'll go through that in a second. While they're doing all of this, you are allowed to walk around and observe anything. Again, don't interfere with anyone. Don't bother anybody, but you can watch them, and they say they're locking it. You can walk behind them and make sure that all those things are being done if you want to. Again, our job is not to be adversarial, but to be an actual observer of the process and make sure it's being done properly. So once all the locking and sealing of the machines has taken place, the judges will open the counter compartment of each machine in the presence of the watchers and all the official persons. You should have a full view of the counter as they show it. And they'll read out, basically they go through the process of reading out for every race what the numbers are. And you can take you have a notes page in here where you can count out all of those results and write them down to make sure that what they've called out from the machines actually matches the final tally that they write out. And so you'll have notes in the back that list all of the races that are Democratic or general election, and you can write all those down. So the vote is going to be entered on these tally sheets, and there will be 2 registrars kind of playing a role of one calling it out and one certifying that the number is the right number. Okay, you can watch this at any time. You can go to any machine while they're calling out the numbers or any of that, and you can participate in that. Pretty straightforward. This is the important part, to make sure that the numbers they're saying actually are the numbers that are being printed out on the machines. In addition to that, they will get a final printout from all of the machines that says, hey, with all those same numbers on them, right? And so that printout sheet is which we are used to them saying, that they post on the doors. There'll be a printout of it, but you can watch the entire process and confirm that what's being printed out or what's being stated or what's being tallied all correlate with what's coming off of each machine. Got it. So, after they have proclaimed the vote, like we're finished counting and this is what it is, you can go and observe, obviously, any of the machines while they're doing that. And if you see there's any issues or discrepancies, you can bring that to attention. Hey, you said this is the number and it looks like this number. And you can, at that point, challenge anything that they're saying, and they have to go back and double check it before they certify it. Again, do it immediately. If you see something wrong, you feel something wrong, this is your time to say it and say something about that. After that, they're supposed to create duplicate tallies of the sheet and The judges will certify them. These are the workers that will certify them, and they'll be placed in the poll books, and then they will make the final proclamation for each candidate in the one question that's up. So once the certification and signing of the sheets is done, the officer of elections will say, here are the results, right? And then they will actually print out a tape that they will post of the results as they're calling them out. That copy will include all the names of the candidates appearing, the number of votes they received, and then also the number of votes by each machine and paper ballot that were filled out in the location. They will sign that. You are allowed by law to request a copy of it, and they are supposed to furnish you with a copy. Okay, so make sure that once we're done, and here's all the names and numbers, and here's the final votes, that you request an official copy of that. I'm making sure that the Election Commission administrator and their lawyers know that we are going to request a copy, and by law they're supposed to provide it. In the past, what they have said is, we post it on the wall and you take a picture of it. That is not the legal requirements. They may still try to do that. That is okay. I just want to make sure that we've requested a copy, and I will put them on notice that we're going to request a copy. If they have requested a copy and they don't give you one and they say you could take a picture, please still take a picture of the final vote tally on your cell phone. It's a fairly long printout, so you might have to take several pictures to get everything in line. And that will be our record of what the machine said. We've had instances in the past where they have reported something different than what was on the printout. And so at least if we have a picture of the printout, that is sufficient. Once you have done that, at that point you are finished at that location. You have no other requirements there. The only thing that we would ask you to do at that point is to text the pictures of the printout to a number that is in the booklet. And so I'm going to show you a couple things. I'm going to show you the last page, and I'll go back and show you some other things that are in the booklet. This last page has important numbers on it. The first one is my number. I will be available. The second one is Julie Bird, who's our attorney for the election commission issues. And the third is the party. That is the number I want you to text it to. That number is 901-466-6730. Text at the end, once you have those pictures of it, you can send a media text with the pictures on it to that, and that will go to a Dropbox where we are maintaining it, an email, and we'll maintain all those pictures, and people will go in and be looking at every picture once you send it in and uploading it so we can start getting our totals. That means I'm going too long. Again, you see we have here at the end of the booklet, we have all of the races listed out and enough room for you to write numbers down there. You also have a notes page in the back, and then you also have a notes page in the front. If you need to write anything down, write names, incidents down. Last thing, the reason for the numbers in the back was if you have any issues or concerns, you can call us. So any of those numbers you call in that order. Really just call the first two. The third one will be to leave a message if there's any issues. Again, if you have to make a phone call about something once the polling location is closed, it means write the notes down and call us afterwards and make us aware of it. You can't call while you're in the location, and I don't want you to leave because they've locked the doors. But again, the purpose is so you have the information. And so once you're in the polling location as a poll watcher, you can walk around, you can observe anything that's going on, anything you see that looks funny, you report it. And for those of you that are going at the end of the night, your job is to go in there and make sure that the numbers are calling out and they're writing down on the sheet of paper are what those machines say and what those other things do. And you want to make sure that that is clean and clear. If you have any other questions, feel free to email back to the party, and you can send that email to, I'll just say, send it to volunteer@shelbydem.org. That's just so it's not all coming to the same email inbox. If you have any questions about this, you can also call me directly, 901-220-7115. If you have any questions about that. But again, take this in there with you so you don't have to fumble through your phone. All the information is in here. You should be pretty set there. Looking forward to working and having some accountability in this election for the Election Commission. So, again, thank you for what you do. We super appreciate it. And let's have an awesome election night. All right, guys? Thanks. I appreciate it.